Joe when I read this. And I'm sitting here reading this going, proactive really means I accept full responsibility for my lot in life.
A proactive person loses that strap and does real pull-ups.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready for that yet. Okay? I'm not quite ready for that yet, but that's right. Everybody with me? A proactive person accepts full responsibility for their lot in life. And they basically say, I am where I am today based on every decision I've made up until today. Everybody follow me here? Like, I am where I am today, good or bad, based on every decision I made up until today.
Well, in my mind, it's being prepared.
It is. It is. So it's got like different meanings. But a proactive person says, I'm the author of my life, and I write the book of my life. Everybody with me here? If you're a faith-based person, you may say, I'm the co-creator of my life. As I'm co-creating my life with God. You understand what I'm saying? But I have independent will to take action. Okay, so there's a creator, and I'm co-creating. So a reactive person really spends a lot of time, I'm going to use a fancy word, obfuscating. You know what obfuscating means?
Like ovulating?
Yeah, no, I didn't. There you go. Obfuscating means you skirt around the truth. You skirt. Yeah. Yeah. Obfuscating is, hey, here's the reality, but you kind of skirt around, right? Like yesterday. Yesterday, I had a designer that was obfuscating on me. They really didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they're kind of trying to blame it on Jack, my videographer in the back. Like, well, he didn't get me these links. Well, in the past, she didn't need the links. What she was really doing was projecting and saying, well, he didn't give me the links because he didn't give me the links, I can't finish the book. Well, we've done 21 of these books and you didn't need the links before. So what you're really doing is I haven't got my job done, so I'm going to blame it on him. But see, I'm too old a cat to be, you know what I'm saying? I've been around the block a few times, so I've said, I'm like, come on, that's an excuse. So what happens when you obfuscate is you really lose respect from people. Does that make sense? Like, that didn't help that designer in my eyes. It really hurt her because she was just blaming what she didn't do on somebody else. It didn't hurt Jack. It hurt her, right? So a reactive person spends a lot of time blaming, pointing fingers, projecting. A reactive person, it's always somebody else's fault. And a reactive person would say, well, if they did this for me and they did this, and if this happened and that happened and this happened, and well, I would do what I need to do if they did all that. Does that make sense? So I hear a lot of employees say this about their companies. Well, if my company told me I was good, and if they loved on me more, and if they served lunch at work, and if they had child care for my kids, well, I would be a much better employee. Right? I hear a lot of this. So I want you to think about this. Do you believe that we are the sum total of all the decisions we made in our life? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. And do you believe that we are where we are today based on every decision we made up until today? Yes or no? Yeah. So if I don't like where I'm sitting today, you know, a lot of times I say, if I could just find a person that put me in this situation and kick them in the hind end, right? Well, that person's me a lot. It's me. And just like in sports, sometimes when we didn't win. It wasn't because the other team beat us. It's because we really didn't do what we knew we should have done. You follow me here? So I was reminded this morning because I was doing a video on how to attack a day versus have that day attack me. And so if I were asking you, how do I attack this day versus have it attack me? Can we all agree that we have non-refundable seconds? Yes or no? And as we get older, our time becomes a lot more critical, right or wrong? And that's why we see a lot of people as they get older, they sleep less. A lot of people go, look, I can't sleep for 12, 14 hours a day. I got stuff to do. I got to get up and get going. There's a big world and there's a lot of problems to solve and there's a limited time to solve them, right? Yesterday we had a long day and I told my team, look, it's a big world and there's a lot of problems. And we did a good job solving them today. We'll wake up and do it again tomorrow. Go home, get rested, right? And come back in and we'll do it again tomorrow. It's okay, right? We're not going to get to every problem. But we go into the day thinking offense versus defense. So if you were coaching me, give me some ways that a real estate agent, a good agent, could come into the day, and I mean just attack that day versus have it attack them. Okay, because at some point in all of our lives, we're going to get to the point where we're kind of longing for a satisfaction that we go home at the end of the day and go, man, we had a good day today. We made a difference today, right? We helped a lot of people today. And you're going to kind of get fed by that. Okay? And the more people you help, this is real simple, the more money you're going to make. The more people you help, the more money you're going to make. That's how this works, right? So I always say if you want to be a millionaire, figure out how to help 1 million people. Because if 1 million people just paid you $1 and you helped 1 million people, you make $1 million. You ever hear what I'm saying? When you study billionaires, billionaires just created $1 billion of value. They may have done it $1 at a time, or $5 at a time, or $1,000 at a time. So my goal is let's go help as many people as we can. When we do, we're going to make a lot more money. We're going to hit our sales goals. We're going to be satisfied, and everybody's going to be happy. But we can't do that if we show up in a defensive posture, right? So coach me on what a great real estate agent, how would they attack a day? Or a great operations person, how would they attack it versus have it attack them? Give me some tools that I could use if I were just starting my real estate career. Okay? Now, plan the night before. Okay? What should I be planning? And how long should that take? Misty, how long should it take to map out the day for the next day? Okay? All right. You say an hour? What would you put in there? Remember, pretend I'm new to real estate. Okay?
When you're going to do your video, set a time to be in the office.
Okay? No, all right, so let's break it down. Should I time block, yes or no?
Yes.
Should I actually put what time I need to wake up?
Yes.
Yes. Should I put what my first couple tasks are? Every day my day says up plus God. That means it's my personal time with God. That's what it says first thing every morning. So I get up, I have a routine I go through, spend a little time reading the Bible, I listen to a sermon, I get ready. Some days I'm exercising, some days I'm not. But I put it on the calendar. Even though I know I'm going to do it, I still put it on there because I'm kind of holding myself accountable to it. Right? And the only lasting form of discipline is self-discipline. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
It's not imposed discipline. It's self-discipline. Right? See, last night we had to put our daughter in a 10-minute timeout because she couldn't speak appropriately to her mother. And then we had to take her TV privileges away from her. Right? Because she couldn't do things. That was imposed discipline. We're imposing discipline on her. Right? Well, it's hard to do that with an adult. Can you imagine me going to Elam Real Estate and me seeing Fraker over there in timeout for 10 minutes? You know what I mean? Like, hey, what are you doing? I'm in timeout. Dan put me in timeout because I didn't make my prospecting calls. You know what I mean? But here's the deal. Here's the deal. See, we can do that with our daughter because she wants something. See, the discipline works when you want something because I take it away from you. She wants to watch TV when she goes to bed. She wants to be able to run around the house. So it's miserable for her to have to sit for just 10 minutes. But with adults, they got to want something first before we can take something away from them. You follow me here? So I would put my time blocking on here. All right, you say an hour. How long do you think, Jason, it should take to plan out your day the next day? Okay, all right. Brad, what about you? Okay, I say 7 to 15 minutes is all I need from you. I sit down for 7 to 15 minutes and map out the next day. Okay, that's it. Now, that gives me a forward posture. So after my time blocking, and it could be feasible that a lot of the top real estate agents do time block 2 hours for nothing but prospecting. Could we all agree on that? What would that time look like? Phone call. Who would I call? Prospects, hit list, past clients. Anything that would generate new money. Everybody with me? Anything that generate new money would be on there as my time blocking. Okay? Then what else should be on there? So I got my calls for new money. The purpose of your business is to create a new customer, right or wrong? Right? So it's either revenue producing, that means we're doing things that produce new revenue, or we're protecting the revenue we had. And what I mean by that is I'm not letting a deal fall apart. I've already got it. We already put it together, and I'm doing everything I can to keep this thing together. That's revenue protection. Everybody with me? Another revenue protection would be I'm going after my past clients. Okay? Now, I drew up this morning, and Dan and I were talking, every real estate team that I work with, here's one of the 4 problems they have. They don't have a good explanation of services, which we pounded on with you. And the problem with that is their close ratios are lower because they're not very articulate on the phone. Okay? They don't have a selling system, which is they're not working a hit list, farm club. They don't have a 7-touch follow-up, or they don't create an experience that could be 2.5 to 5 referrals off every deal. Does that make sense? So most agents struggle in one of these 4 areas. The good agents still struggle in one of these areas, wouldn't you say, Dan? But they just don't struggle in all 4. So the good agents may say, man, I'm not hitting my follow-up like I need to. I'm not going to 7 touches like I need to. But I am working my system, and I do have demand, but I'm not following up 7 times like I should with these leads, right? Or a good agent may say, I've got a lot of business, so what's really suffering is my top 25. I'm not loving on my biggest clients because I'm really got a lot of production. Everybody follow me here? Or I hadn't called back my past customers. So if you can train your mind to work on one of these 4 areas, and this is every real estate person in America. I mean, we're coaching $100 million mortgage people that are losing money because they got leads that they can't follow up with or don't follow up with, and they're not calling customers back once they put them in a home. Those are people operating at this level. Everybody follow me? So you got one of these challenges. I call those missing structures. So when I'm planning my day, I've got my hit list, which represents what, Kathleen?
The people that you're going to go after that.
That's right. New money. Could it be a strategic partnership? Yes. So you may be meeting today with a divorce attorney. You may be meeting with a mortgage person. You may be meeting with an accountant. You may be meeting with, and I call them feeder systems. You may be meeting with a person who you believe through partnership with each other can feed you business. Think of it as a feeder system, right? Like I've got some people that'll send me 7, 8, 10 speaking engagements, and they're just one person. Or they'll get me a company where I get 7 engagements, 7 commissions. But it was that one person that opened the door for me to get in. You with me? Be like one person helping you sell 7 houses. Well, what if you had 10 of those? What if you had 15 of those? What if you had 25 of those? Everybody follow me here? And for some reason, something you've done, they're on fire for you. And they're advocating for you, okay? So is there anything else that would be in my plan for the day? Like I do affirmations. I write out, I own a $10.4 million company that kicks off $3 million of cash to me. I write that every day. I do not own a $10.4 million company. This year will probably be a $2.4 million company. But guess what? I tell my brain every day, what do I own? It'd be like you telling me, I'm a real estate agent that does 50 transactions a year. I earn, $200,000 a year. You see what I'm saying? You're telling your brain, and I think the more you tell your brain, what'll happen is you'll wake up and be there, right? So every night I write these affirmations down. And I put it in there, and I write it as what I'm becoming, not what I am today. Okay? Is there anything else that should be in my plan to be on offense versus defense? Morgan? What else should be on there?
A little bit of buffer time, spend a lot of time doing things.
Okay. Okay, so buffer time is planning, strategy, backstage, emails, catch up. I'm okay with a percentage of your day being that. How much of our day should be spent on money-generating activity, Brad?
How much time?
Yeah, on a percentage.
25.
Yeah, or more. Here's what I think. If I looked at your day, how much of your day is spent on things that produce deals?
Well, I make calls probably 4 hours a day.
Okay, so is it 60%, 70%?
Yeah, and if you're talking about like generating new clients for new money, yeah.
Yes, there you go.
70%.
There you go. So what you'll see most people do, I think at least 80% of your day needs to be spent on money-generating activity. So if we work 10 hours today, 8 of those hours need to be on things that produce revenue.
And most agents in the office,
Yeah,
they're less than 2 hours a day spent on generating projects.
that's right.
So what we teach is very similar to what you teach in the sense that your time blocking would be on new acquisition of new customers. What happens in the real estate industry a lot of times is they block this prospecting time off. And then what they do is they fix problems
Yeah,
during
during the
the
prospecting time.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because if you don't bring the number one reasons companies fail is because they don't bring in enough new what?
Business. When you see a cut, during the recession, when big companies laid off thousands of people, anybody ever been part of a layoff before? Okay, when big companies lay off workers, it's not because those workers are bad workers. It's because they don't have enough customers to support the amount of infrastructure they have. You follow me here? Okay, in the home building business, when I was working with Old South many years ago, they went through a massive layoff because they were not selling enough homes, right? And they had to take people that had been there for years and say, look, we love you, but we can't afford you. We don't need you, right? because we don't have enough customers. So Dan's right on this, because what I need to be doing is spending time on money generating activity. So what is that? Phone calls, follow-ups, getting new clients, working on leads. Anything that will generate money needs to be 80% of my day. 20% of my day. So think about this. Les Walden, my buddy in South Carolina, always said this: I prospect in the morning and I solve the world's problems in the afternoon. So he said 9 to 11, I'm in that office prospecting. Headset on the phones. Then he goes, eats lunch. Then all afternoon he's solving customer problems. Does that make sense? And he was doing, 200 transactions a year, something like that, 175. And that was his motto: prospect in the morning, and he did it 5 days a week. Every day come in that office. He's in there 8 o'clock, bam. And so what would prohibit a person from spending 7 to 15 minutes tonight planning tomorrow? Or what may have prohibited you last night from spending 7 to 15 minutes mapping it out today? Laziness. Everybody in this room can say we value the day, right? We value opportunity. Well, if we value opportunity, we need to capture opportunity by planning and executing. Now, if you don't trust yourself, and a lot of people don't trust themselves, right? Okay? If you don't trust yourself, then you'll say, well, I'm not going to do it anyway, so why even spend time writing it up? Right? Like I never get up when I say I'm going to get up. Never get to the office when I say I'm going to get to the office. Never prospect like I say I'm to. So what you start doing is you begin you begin not even trusting yourself. How many of you don't trust yourself in certain situations? Right? Okay? I don't trust myself down at Tootsie's and a half a thing of vodka either. Okay? So guess what? I just don't get to go. Okay? Now, my point is, there's certain things that you don't trust yourself on, right? You don't trust that you'll make prospecting calls, so you don't even write them down. You don't trust that you'll show up, so you don't do it, because you haven't shown a demonstrated capacity to who? Your own self. Everybody follow me here? So if you don't trust yourself, it's going to be hard for me to trust you, because you don't even trust you, right? So I'm trying to get you into thinking like this. How many people are mapping out their days and trying to work on this? How many people can be honest, okay? All right, and are you finding that the days you do it, that it goes better? Now, if I'm on the operations side, Takesha plans her days different than I plan my days, but she still plans her days. You can't use this as an excuse, well, I'm an operation person and I'm just at the whim of everybody else. She is still running an operations division of our company. She has high-value tasks to do every day. Does that make sense? Now, I may bring 5 more tasks to her and throw them on her, right? Then she has to triage, but she still needs to come in to the day with a plan of attack, okay? So if you're not doing that, how many deals do you think that could be costing you by not planning? How much time is lost in a day? Yeah, just by, hey, I don't trust myself, so I goof off, I waste time. So what's the 2 most important things we need to be doing every day? Generate new money or hold on to the money we already got. That's it. Those are high-value activities, okay? So I want to get you in this mindset of forward posture. Offensive versus defense, okay? All right, but that's not the big topic we're going to talk about today. That was the appetizer, okay? Here's the big topic we're going to talk about today. How many of you have ever been taught that perception is reality? Ever heard that before? Now, how many of you believe that lots of real estate is about perception? How many of you have ever seen big agents? I'm sure Dan and Joe have been in this a long time. Have seen people market themselves into being big agents but not be very good agents.
A lot.
Right? And you know why? Because it's perception. I can spend the money to have billboards and marketing and staging and all these things, and it's an illusion, and still not be very good. But I can convince you that I am good. See, when we elected President Trump as president, we didn't know if he could solve any of the problems we have. He just convinced us. He convinced enough people he could. It's illusion. It's perception. Only time will tell how good of a president he, like every president. Only looking back will we see what he really did. Everybody follow me here? Selling is a lot about perception, right or wrong? It's a perception of trust. Can I trust you to get me what I want? And do I trust you more than I do other people to get me what I want? So there's all this perception. Now, we live in one of the biggest societies of judgment there's ever been. We judge people based on how they look. We judge people based on what they drive. We judge people based on where they live. We judge people, right? We judge people based on how their office looks, right? Okay, I've heard some people say, get in a car with a person and see how dirty their car is, and that tells you a lot about their life. That's a judgment, right? Okay? But I've heard people say that. You can tell a lot about a person about how messy their vehicle is on the inside. Okay? Do they keep their things clean? Blah, blah, blah. These are all perception, right? We do a lot of things to drive up our perceived value because in my company it's like stock. My stock is going up or down. Everybody with me? The higher my perceived stock is, the more we can negotiate fees. Does that make sense? Like we're signing up new real estate teams that we're charging 3 and 4 times what we charge you. Why? Well, my stock's a little bit higher than when I negotiated with Dan. You follow me here? It's higher today than it was back in December of last year. Why? I had a best-selling book. I'm a lot more visible than I was. We're getting big clients. Does that make sense? And so Bill is in there negotiating deals right now where he's trying to drive my stock up. But I remember a time that my stock wasn't worth $125. Have y'all been there before? You know why? I didn't have any stock. I didn't have any. I didn't have any perception. I was just trying to fight for perception. Is that what you're fighting for, yes or no? You're fighting for attention. So Dan, is every agent in here, their stock going up and down every day? Just like a stock market. United dropped $1 billion in value in one day when they drug that person off the plane. And United didn't even drag them off the plane, a police officer did. It just happened on a United plane. They lost $1 billion of value. So I want you to think about your stock. And it's based on, it's going up or down, right? Everybody with me? When you don't have high stock, people are going to really, really negotiate with you a lot. And it's going to look like in your world, can you take less commission? What they're really saying is, you know what? I don't know how good you are. You're kind of a rookie. You're not very good. You know what I mean? Your stock's not very high right now. So you don't have a lot of leverage. Right? They told me that President Bush is speaking next year at this big mastermind event in Las Vegas. And his speaking fee was $175,000 for him to speak for 1 hour, plus private plane to get him there, plus 3 nights at the Wynn Hotel that he wanted in a presidential suite.
3 nights, but he's only talking for 1 hour?
Yeah. So he wanted,
Like a 1 hour.
well, he wanted 3 nights to stay in Vegas in a presidential suite, and he wanted $175,000, and he wanted a private jet for him to come speak. And they said, okay. Because they thought with him on the docket, they would sell more tickets. So they're making a gamble here. This is what his stock's worth, right? Every past president's charging over $100,000 to speak. They only make $400,000 a year, by the way. When they're president, their salary is only $400,000. Seems low to run the country, right? But man, their stock goes up when they leave. They write books. They go on the speaking circuit. Now they've done something. They've been president of the United States, for God's sake. Now their stock is real high. You follow me? So when you think about this, okay, when you think about this, how do we drive up your stock? Because this is, what we're talking about today is perception, okay? Perception. And if you believe perception is reality, I'm going to throw out some words to you, and I want you to think about what the perception of you is. Now, why can't we see the perception of us? Can't see the picture when you're inside the frame, right? Okay? When I was coaching at Riverdale, I'm going to ask Leslie this. I'm going to put her on the spot. And it's okay. She can be honest, and I don't doubt that she's not going to be honest. I don't suspect she holds back much. What was the perception of me when I was coaching at Riverdale?
It was good. I think most everybody liked you and Brandon Burks.
They like Brandon a little bit more than they like me, though.
I mean, I think most of us parents just always looked at y'all as a team just because we had always seen y'all together. But
Yeah.
I mean, those were good times.
Well, that's a positive thing, she said. But I think a lot of people saw me as very difficult, insanely intense, way over the top for a high school basketball coach. Kind of like a little Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Like a little just mean, intense dude. And you know why? Because I was. I was so hardcore and difficult that the perception of me was either one or two things. You either loved it or what?
Hated it.
You hated it. I was very polarizing. And I didn't even know it. I was just being me. right? I was just like going out there and just fighting the battle, trying to build a little championship program. But I would meet people that wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't look at me, wouldn't talk to me, and when they did, they were rude to me because they had this perception of me. And I'd say, well, we don't like how you coach, or we don't like how you yell, or we don't like how you scream, or we don't like how intense you are, or we don't like how you treat the kids, or we don't like this. Then another person over here go, man, I love how hard he is on these kids. I love the discipline he brings to these kids. Does that make sense? Well, the perception of me was, right, that. And I really didn't even recognize it until I was probably 30 or 33 years old. I didn't recognize my own perception. I just thought they hired me to win. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. I didn't even realize a lot of times I was probably over the line. I was probably way too hard. I was probably you're bringing kids in at 4:30 in the morning to practice because they lost the night before. And they're 15 years old. That's pretty hardcore. You with me?
Yeah.
But then some people say that's what it takes to win. That's why you won a championship. You follow me? So I want you to think about your perception. Here's some perception issues. I want you to think if this is any of you. Do you have a perception of inconsistency? Do you have a perception of limited thinking? Do you have a perception of slow response? Do you have a perception of solving small problems or are involved in drama all day long? Do you have a perception as a party animal? Do you have the perception of being lazy? Do you have the perception that you can't follow through? Do you have a perception that you run around in small circles? Okay? And do you have a perception that you're a very local player versus a national player? Now, how many of you would believe that would hurt your stock as a real estate agent? Because why? Why would it hurt your stock? Let's say you got a perception of lazy. Does anybody want a lazy real estate agent representing them? See, here's the irony. You cannot tell a person this is the largest transaction of your life, and you can't use your EOS, which is we believe every person deserves the right to what? Have a professional represent them and then be lazy. You see how that's hypocritical? It's the word is duplicity. It means we preach one thing, but we practice another. We can't say, hey, you deserve a professional representing you, but, I showed up 15 minutes late, and I didn't call you back, and I'm kind of lazy in how hard I work for you. You can't say those two things. Now, you may get that deal. The problem is you don't get any future deals, which is where you're really losing. So go back to this piece. Basically, when I was talking with Dan, he said that most of his past clients were worth about 2.5 referrals to him over the lifetime of the customer. Stats vary between 2.5 and 5, 7, but the way he got those customers is in the very beginning, there was a real intense period between him and them. Now, I want you to think about what binds a person together. They tell us that a promise binds a person together. I'll tell you another thing that binds a person together is unforgiveness. Okay? When you don't forgive another person, there's a negative bind between you and them that goes with you for a long time. Okay? Well, what I want to do is bind you and I together in a positive way. Okay? And the way Dan has done it in his career is during the beginning, when he first got a new client, he would slow down and spend a real intense time with that new client, getting to know them, talking about their family, understanding them. I call that onboarding. You follow me here? And if that's intense enough and you and I really share something enough, even for a very short period of time, it's like going on a vacation with a person back in '86 that you never forget. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're close, you're intimate. Okay, I still remember going on vacation back in those days to Panama City Beach, and it was Brandenburgs and my buddy Jason Melton, and we're all out there, and a big cooler set in the middle of us, and we were in a top-down vehicle, you know what I mean? And we couldn't hardly all fit in there because we got to get the cooler in there. And it's a car for 4, but we try to get 7 people in there. You know what I'm saying? But we still talk about that. Remember us Panama City trip? We had that big cooler in the middle. Remember that, right? It bound us together. Well, here's what's happening when you get a new client. When you don't do that, and it's very fast, and you don't get that binding moment with them, you don't pick up those 2.5 referrals off the deal. Because Dan may get calls today from 15 years ago that says, man, you remember when you did that deal for me? Because it made such an impression on them. Right? We have customers sign up every day that I haven't heard from. We've tried to call. They didn't answer. I had one yesterday call and said, sign me up. I'm like, where'd you? One time. Just one experience. Now they're ready. They wasn't ready, now they're ready. That's still money. So for you, think about the perception. Why do real estate agents get such a bad perception? Because it really is an industry that gets a bad reputation. Why do they, why? Because they do, okay? And think about all the reputations. Thank you, Joe. Anytime you've had a bad reputation in your life, how did you get it?
Something you did or didn't do.
Typically, something you did. You earned it, right? You ever heard that? You earned a reputation. So just like you can earn a bad reputation, you can earn a good reputation. Everybody follow me? You can earn a good reputation. But let's look at all the factors that would factor into this, okay? Because that's really where I want to go with this. Okay? So how do we drive up our stock as real estate agents? Number one, we can get some serious results for our clients. How many of you think results shuts people up? See, when you get serious results, what you really need to be selling is those results. Like, I've helped X number of people in my life. Here's how fast. I got X number more money for them. When you get serious results, this drives up your perceived value. Because here's what's happening in today's world. I don't necessarily have to like you for you to represent me in today's world. You know the old school way? You got to like them, know them, like them, trust them. You know where I'm seeing in the world? I do business with some people I don't like. You know why? Because they're the best. And that's kind of what I'm seeing out there in the market. It's like, look, I don't really have to like Kathleen every day. But if I believe Kathleen can negotiate more money for me, she can get a better deal for me, I'm going to go with Kathleen. Everybody follow me? Old days, I got to like Kathleen. I got to know her. I got to trust her. I do have to know her. I do have to trust her. But I'm seeing a new trend. If she can get results, and all I'm interested in is results, right? And I used the example, you know, Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin didn't like each other at all at Alabama, but look at what they did together. That's his offensive coordinator. And they go to 2 national championship games together, and they don't even like each other. Here's the deal. One's good, the other's good. Who cares if they like each other? Everybody follow me here? So one thing that'll shut people up is results. Okay? And you may hear people say, well, say what you want about Dan Elam, but the man knows how to sell real estate. Right or wrong? Say what you want about Nick Saban, man knows how to win his national championship. I don't care if you like him or not. Right or wrong? And that's what they're paying him to do. Okay? So number one is you can get some serious results. Now, when you get results, how do I know you get results without bragging? Because we live in the South. This is the first place people go, right? It's like, I don't want to be one of those agents that goes out there and brags about myself all over social media. I get it. How do you tell people the results you got without feeling like a braggadocious? Okay? Your people could speak for you, right? That's one. Okay? Your people can speak for you. Testimonials, right? Written testimonials. Okay? You can say things in a way that you were able to help this group, you're able to do this, but you got to be very careful about that. Because if it seems too self-absorbing, then people go, oh, that's just a clever way for them to brag on themselves. Right? But when you get results, does that spread? Yes or no? Start to spread. Okay? So number one, here's what I'd ask you. What kind of results do you get for your clients? If I ask you, Jason Fraker, all right, I'm looking at 3 different agents. I'd like to know, only thing I'm interested in is the results you get for your clients. What would you sell me today?
Results for buying, selling.
Don't matter. Look, I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at 3 other agents. And the only thing I'm really interested in is the results you can get me, Jason. That's what I want. What would you sell me?
I don't know, for results wise, of, honesty, integrity, getting you across the finish line on time.
Okay.
He gets top dollar for his sellers.
Okay.
Hasn't had to sell fall through. How about
Less stress.
Okay. Now we're getting, the first ones ain't sexy. Honesty, integrity, I get it, man, but everybody says that. Even dishonest. And
It's all about the money.
you know what I'm interested in? What I want.
Money.
I think it's good that you're honest. I think it's good you got integrity. I think it's good you go to church.
Man, you may not be the best fit then.
Really?
Really.
But I'm honest. And I have integrity.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that ain't enough in today's world.
He'll work hard, very
So
hard.
I want you to think of this. In today's world, honesty, integrity, trust are the cost of just doing business. If I don't think you're honest and I can't trust you, I would never even be having this conversation with you. Okay? So let's put those over here and park for a second, and let's ask the bigger question. What do I want, and can you deliver the goods for me? Well, she gave them to you. You said, I have 100%, here's how I'd say it, I have 100% of my deals that don't fall through. Because there are a lot of things that can go wrong in a real estate deal. Right? Okay, what else did you say?
He hasn't had a sale fall through.
Okay, yep, I got that one. What was the other one?
Get you top dollar.
Okay, and if you can define what that means, I've got a system. I've got a system or process to get you more money or top dollar, right? And I may say, well, unpack that system for me. What does that mean specifically? See, I want you to learn to talk in very specifics. Does that make sense? We're going to hear all real, honest. I know there's a lot of unethical real estate agents, guys. I get it. But that's not going to be enough. Now, remember this. As you start to grow your real estate business, the more sophisticated the buyer and seller, the more they're going to press you to know if you're good or not. You're going to get a bunch of little bluegills your whole life until you become more sophisticated. Everybody with me here? Sophistication is typically tied to money. Right? I'm not saying, you got to go to the country club and be a member of the city club to be sophisticated. I mean, you just got to be able to articulate, this is my value that I create, right? And I put it in, there's 3 things that we do. So one way is I get results from my clients. I believe in getting results from my clients and what they want. Most of my clients want this, top dollar for their deal, right? They want a deal that doesn't follow through. Here's what they want, and I'm going to bring it to them. And I've shown a propensity or demonstrated capacity to do that the X number of times. Okay, everybody follow me here? So the first one is getting results. But how do I know you're getting results if you don't sell it? So you got to sell results. Okay, so one is I drive it up that way. All right, what about this one? How do I attract top clients?
Market to them.
How many of you guys think Murfreesboro is a big small town? Nashville's actually a big small town. But do you believe that when you get some social capital, some reputational capital by representing key people? Anybody get a chance to watch the interview I did with that celebrity life coach, Tim Story? He is known, and you need to go back and watch it because he was smooth. He moved to California.
What's his name?
Tim Story. And he is called the comeback coach. So he said, if you see them on TMZ, they're most likely my clients. Right? He has carved out a niche in California since the early 90s as a celebrity coach to people who fall off the wagon. Robert Downey Jr., anybody that's had confidence issues. He's coached everybody from Kanye West to Robert Downey Jr., Tiger Woods. Now, here's the deal. There's a market for that. How much money will those people pay to get their life back turned around? So he's carved out a little niche of working with very wealthy people who have a very specific problem. But guess what? The first thing he did is he moved to Hollywood where all the stars are. Everybody with me here? I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but there is a billionaire that lives either in Rutherford County or right outside of Rutherford County. Billionaire with a B. There are people here that make a lot of money. Some of them you'd never expect. Somebody's representing them on their real estate deals, yes or no? Right? My point is, I learned this early on because right out of the gate I got Floyd. And when I got Floyd, I got Bob Parks. And when I got Floyd and Bob Parks, who did I get next? John Jones. And then I got John Jones, and then I got Red and Exit, everybody else. You know what that taught me? It taught me the power. I got people that I didn't even have any business coaching. You know what they said? Hey, if you're working with Floyd, if you're working with Bob, if you're working with John Jones, we got to be working with you too. They didn't even know why they needed a coach. You understand what I'm saying? You know what that's called? Social capital. It's reputational capital. Everybody with me? So one way you drive up your perception is what? Attract big-time people as your clients, just like the little celebrity life coach. But you're not going to do that. If Brad's a big-time person, I'm never going to attract Brad until I get proximity to Brad. I got to get around Brad. Everybody follow me here? To get Brad, I got to get close to him. Well, think about your day and how much proximity to power you get in a day. Or do you just show up at the office and it's just You take whatever comes in the door. You don't even think intentional like that. You got to get closer to people who have money if you want to represent people who have money. So number 3, you got to attract bigger clients, okay? What I put in there, be so good they can't ignore you. Now, I want to talk about this one. Hide your liabilities and dress up your assets. Some people are better than this than others, okay? How do I do that as a real estate agent? How do I play to my assets?
You can use Dan and Joe, I do.
Okay.
Whenever I talk about experience, I don't, I just sort of skip over that I'm less than a year of being a licensed agent. We have over 50 years of combined real estate that I immediately, if they ask questions, I wrap up,
That's right. That's right. So you hide your liabilities. That's one way to do it. What about how do I hide my liabilities? If I'm a short, bald-headed, 5'6" dude, how do I sexy it up?
Dress for success.
Could I dress better?
Lifts.
What?
Lifts in your
Lifts? Now, let me ask you this. How many people think that you can hide some of your liabilities in how you dress? Yes or no? See, I wear a lot of blue and a lot of black because I don't look good. I'm very pale, and I don't look my best when I wear light things. Everybody follow me here? So I wear a lot of blue. Now, when I go on these TV shows, they put makeup on me, hide the shine. But you know why they do that? And after going to New York City and wearing and having that on in those shows, I was like, I told my wife I look totally different. Like I don't have any wrinkles. Like you can't see all this when I had all that makeup on. And I was like, man, I look so much better. You understand what I'm saying? So here's my point. Can you drive up your perceived value by how you dress? Yes or no? We are creatures of comfort. If it were up to me, I'd be comfortable every day. I'd wear a warm-up suit if they'd let me. If y'all didn't mind, I'd wear a warm-up suit and shorts every day. I promise you. But when you're representing real estate, I look at how the top women in real estate dress. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you may have your brand, and your brand may be a certain brand, and you're a blue-collar person, and you want to represent blue-collar people. But does this drive your perception, yes or no? Because we live in a judgmental society, right or wrong? We live in a judgmental society. I remember my mom telling me, you better not go out of the house looking like that. And she always had a big deal about shoes. What if you had a wreck and no shoes on? Y'all remember that? But my mom was always on me about looking good. She's always like, you better dress up. You better look. You look slouchy. I can't believe you'd wear that. You're not wearing that. You're not going out of the house looking like that. But I hated that. But that was actually good advice from my mother. Because the perception, you may say, and Kiyosaki always said, outdated wardrobes equals outdated mindsets. If you got an outdated wardrobe, you got an outdated mindset. The way people make assessments today, you got to look good, right? So you drive up your value by looking like somebody. Okay? It's driving up your value, okay? What about this one? We talk about working on your... Let's go down to the number 6, putting your business on the street. Can you drive down your stock value by what you post on Facebook? Yes or no?
Yes.
So I want to close on this one because I want you to know you are a brand. You may not have ever thought of yourself like that, but people are looking at you and they're not telling you what they think. Like they're making an assessment about you, but they're not telling you what that assessment is. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. They're making a quick assessment. Studies say less than a tenth of a second, another person makes an assessment. And prolonged exposure, right? Prolonged exposure doesn't change the initial. So you have a bad first impression, it takes 21 positive interactions to overcome the first negative one. You ever believe that? So they're making an assessment based on how you dress, how you speak, how you articulate, how you show up, what you drive. They're making an assessment of you. And that is either driving up your stock or down your stock. So when I say don't put all your business on the street, every thought that comes out of your head doesn't need to go to Facebook. Every drama or grievance you have with another person doesn't need to go on Facebook. You need to really think through what you put on there. Because let's say I peg you as a party animal. The only reason I peg you as a party animal is because every time I see you on Facebook, You partying. Everybody with me? The reason I peg you as a complainer is because every time you get on Facebook, you complain about something. Everybody follow me here? So when I say don't put all your business on the street, there's things that you don't need to share with the world because it's driving down your value or it's driving up your value. Okay? And you really need to think about that. We have a woman that's in our coaching programs that is a singer in a very successful band, and she's a top real estate agent. She does about $18 million a year. And everything she put on her personal page was about her singing. And I was giving this talk, and she's like, oh my gosh, I've been sending this message that my singing career is more important than my real estate career to all of my friends. And I said, well, who does all their business with you? All my friends. And I said, if I looked at that, I'd say you'd much rather be in a rock band than be a real estate agent. Because everything you put out on your Facebook is about you. Does that make sense? So she tried to have a business page, and it was all real estate, and her personal page was all rock, being in a band. And I said, look, you're confusing the market, right? You're confusing. Because if I was going to do a real estate deal, in my mind, I'm going, now, is she a rock singer or she is a real estate agent? And that could hurt her perception. And she's very smooth. Like, she's a great real estate agent and a great singer. So you say, how do I do that? Well, you got to combine it to where it's not too heavy on one versus the other. So I'm telling you this because is it not true that most new agents really struggle with this? They don't understand how their perception affects their sales. Yes or no? Okay? And sometimes you got to know you're pumping something out to the world that is saying one of these things. You're lazy, you don't work hard, you're not professional, and you may not even know it. But the market's kind of looking at you going, you got to clean yourself up here if you want to be good. That's if you want to. So how do I know what to do? Let me close on this. Is it not true that I could look at big-time real estate agents and get a model, yes or no? If I'm a female, I look at big-time female agents and I go, look at these women. You know what I've noticed about big-time real estate agents that are women? They're business women. They're not realtors. They are serious, savvy, formidable agents. But they're really not agents, they're business people. They act like business people. They're in their office every day. They dress up every day. They get up and they hustle, man. And it's right. I mean, it's really cool. Okay, I think it's kind of sexy because it's like, man, that's a formidable person. You know, I mean, same thing with men. The big-time men real estate agents have a perception that they're pushing out to the market that I am a formidable person. Like I'm an expert at what I do. Right? I asked my daughter if she knew what talent meant last night. I said, sweetheart, you got some good talents in this. And I said, do you know what talent is? She said, expert. I said, good. 4 years old. That's good, right? Because if I ever associate those two things with you, right? Very talented, and you're an expert. That increases your stock in value, right? How many people from today's talk think they need to work on their perception? All of us. I do. I spoke at Leadership Rutherford once, and you know, JC said you're out without honor in your own city. You know what I'm saying? The hardest I ever had to work is in Murfreesboro. And I spoke at Leadership Rutherford, and I thought I gave such a great talk. And a big-time publicist was there. And they asked her, how did I do? And here's what she said. Oh, he was a very good basketball coach. And she said it very condescending. Oh, he was a very good basketball coach. And he's a good speaker. And man, I don't want to just be a good speaker and a very good right? Does that make sense? Because if you want to be a thought leader in the world, that's one of the worst things she could ever said about me. Right? Well, why did she say it about me? Was I just pumping out that that's all I was? So maybe she was just calling out at that time what I was in the world, right? But I've used that. I've used it. And one day I'm going to go back to her and remind her what she said. Okay? Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Thank you. Have a great day.